Hi, everybody. I'm Chris Perkins. I'll be your dungeon master for the next hour and plus minutes. I have got a phenomenal group today that I'm going to take on an adventure. And if you're new to D&D and you haven't seen a D&D game before, you're in for a treat. So D&D is a game of collaborative storytelling where I, as the dungeon master, will kind of push the story forward as best I can, but it's the players who bring the story to life and by their actions propel the story forward. So this is all being done for the benefit of Red Nose Day. And so please donate. It's a great cause. Help children around the world. And D&D is a fun way, not only to hang out with your friends, but to do good in the world. So without further ado, allow me to introduce you to my players. Hi, everybody.
Hey.
Hi.
What a group. What a group. So I've got a little scenario planned for y'all, and I hope you have fun. What I'd like to do is give each of you a chance to introduce yourselves and introduce the character that you are planning to play. And give your character as much depth or as little depth as you want. We'll get to know them better as the game unfolds. And so let me start with how I'm seeing faces on the screen with Martin.
Hey. How are you guys? Today I will be a Goliath. He's a big fella. I am strong, to say the least. I go by the name Logan the Huge, for obvious reasons. I won't go into too much detail. You'll see my power when it is presented.
And next is Brett.
Yes, hi. I'm Breathlin. I'm a wizard dragon person who I'm very wise and I'm strong. I'm not the most dexterous of dragon people, but the team makes up for it, I think.
What's his favorite food?
Mac and cheese.
Nice. Nice.
No, his favorite food. Yeah. What is his favorite food? No, we gotta.
I like mac and cheese.
Spend a lot of time on this. Yeah, mac and cheese. I'll go with my first.
Felicia, it's a pleasure to be gaming with you once more.
Yay. Yes, Chris. Glad to be on your table again. I am playing Nancy. Yeah, I'm playing Nancy the Bearded Dwarf. She is a monk. She had a shop in her town that was, it was sort of an Etsy shop where she's basically wants to be a motivational speaker. And she had a failed business where she used to do calligraphy with motivational things like, you go, orc. But it failed, so now she's working as a mercenary to try to figure out her motivational speaking career, which is not good because she has a charisma of 8.
Oh no!
But she has a dream. Damn. She has a dream.
All right.
Oh my God! So method. So method. I feel.
Trey, tell us about your character. Tell us about yourself and your character.
Yeah, I'm playing Blue, just Blue, because she's too cool to have a last name, because everybody knows her. She's a criminal on the wrong side of the tracks, likes to steal everything, including many useless things that aren't necessary, and has no charisma, no people skills at all whatsoever, but somehow has these group of friends who tolerate her.
So how do you reconcile your criminal past with your paladin class? Because paladins are normally champions of, causes and things.
See, Blue, she just wants to be like a trendsetter. And, all these paladins, they just want to be the best and, be nice. What's up with that? But Blue, she's a trendsetter of being bad. And that's what's cool. So.
A paladin of badness.
Yes.
All right. To sort of set the scene, all of you have been acquaintances and sort of adventuring together for a short time. And you are in a region of the far north called Icewind Dale, a frontier land that is locked behind tall mountains and hemmed in by glaciers on one end and a raging sea of colliding icebergs on the other. But people come here to escape their criminal past, as Blue may be doing. They come here to test their mettle against the harsh, cold elements. And they come here to carve out new lives for themselves and new businesses, as Nancy the Dwarf has struggled to do in recent months.
I'll get there.
But all of what counts as civilization in this place is a cluster of tiny towns, collectively known as 10 towns. They are the flickering candlelights of civilization, and they're always in danger of being snuffed out, if not by the bitter, bitter cold and seemingly endless night, then by the monsters that prey on creatures here. But you are currently in a small town on the side of a lake where there's an inn and there's a tavern and not much else. A few residences. Possibly Nancy's business is in this town, or it might be in one of the other towns. That's entirely up to Felicia to decide. But you're hanging out, trying to stay warm with some locals at the inn, when a bunch of other townsfolk barge in, looking very distressed. And they tell you that big green men have taken over the tavern, cast a spell on the tavern keeper, and frightened everybody out. Now, half of the people telling you this smell like they've been drinking a lot. But there are a few that you've come to know and like who look genuinely scared by what they have seen. What would you like to do?
What can I do a insight check? Or can I do a history check to see what a big green person might be? What do we think? I'm going to roll.
You'd venture to guess. History would be good. Have you heard of anything like this before? So roll a d20.
Have I heard anything like this? Yeah, I did that, and it's a 5.
A 5. Okay. For those who don't know or haven't watched D&D before, D20 is the main die that we use to resolve these things, and Felicia's D20 is not bringing its best game to the table right now.
It failed.
When you don't need to know something, fate won't let you know it.
Yeah, you have nothing in your nothing that you can recall that would tell you what these big green men might be.
Can we all do a history check?
Yeah.
Maybe the odds are in our favor.
Yes. If the rest want to roll a d20.
Yeah.
We're a very cohesive group. So which die? The 20 die?
I got a 2.
Yeah.
Yep, that would be the 20 die.
Okay.
I got a 2.
Ooh, I got a 1.
Okay.
Is that
yeah,
for real?
this.
Wow. We're not meant to know.
None of you know what these big green men are, but you're in good company because most of the people around you, these locals, have no idea what these creatures are either, and some of them even saw them. They say that there are 3. One was pretty well armored and was carrying a sword and looked terrifying. The other 2 were wearing robes that looked kind of alien and weird to everybody, like they were out of fashion or from some distant land.
Let's go give him a hug.
Yeah.
Go give him a hug.
That's what big green
Bring
men
out
need.
the best in people when
That's
you
what
give your
they
heart to others. Yeah, they just need a hug. Let's go, you guys.
Nancy is of a mind to lead you outside. Would the rest of you accompany her?
Yes.
Yes.
All right. When you step out, you know that it's absolutely bitter, intensely cold. It must be like minus 40 degrees out there. So you probably grab your scarves and your heavy winter gear and bundle up, put on your big furry boots and mittens. When you step out, you're blasted by a cold wind coming down from the distant glaciers, and you trudge through the 4-foot deep snow. Fortunately, you can follow the trails that other townsfolk have left to get to the tavern, which is called the Hook, Line, and Sinker. And it's got a sign out front that has a fish on a hook. When you get there, you see that the door to the tavern is just kind of hanging open and stuck in the snow. And standing outside, kind of very still, sort of zombie-like, is the tavern keeper, who is a man you've come to know as Glenn.
Ooh,
Glenn!
poor Glenn.
Glenn!
Yeah.
Man, wake up! You're gonna lose a nose, man!
Yes. When you get to him, you can see he's actually just standing there and shivering, but he's not wearing any of his cold weather clothing. And when you look into his eyes, he just sort of looks back at you vacantly and says,
Oh no.
I asked them to get out and they wouldn't. And so the one who cast a spell on me told me to wait out here.
Oh no.
Damn.
Did you try to hug them?
No.
I'd say Glenn's gotta go.
Can we give Glenn a blanket or something? Poor Glenn.
If you want to, you've probably got a blanket in your backpack. You can sort of take your backpack off, unpack it, drape the blanket over shivering Glenn. And he says, thank you. This feels so much better.
You're welcome, Glenn.
I'm supposed to stand.
Glenn, do you recognize these tall green men?
I've never seen them before. But I don't think they mean us harm.
I don't know if I believe that, Glenn, but
Yeah.
what else did they say to you?
Yes,
They didn't say anything, but one of them just spoke with his mind, in my mind, like using some form of mind-to-mind talk. His mouth never opened. He never spoke, but I could hear him in my brain.
Like a mental hug.
Yeah.
Mental hug.
And you can see Glenn is still very much, he's in a daze.
Glenn, this is not good. We're gonna go in there and we're gonna let them
This
know
seems-
that they can't. Yeah, this is not good. We're gonna give him a hug, but we're gonna give him a talking to too. Do you know it?
They seem nice
Okay.
in a strange way. All right, so Glenn is just standing out there with a blues blanket now. He's less cold, for sure. The doorway to the tavern is just hanging open.
Okay, first of all, we gotta close this door. You know, there's a temperature that the fire, basically, we're going to make a cold inn and no one's gonna be able to have the jerky tonight, and the beer's gonna get cold because we like warm beer here, or at least I do. Very warm beer. So let's get in there. And I'm gonna push Glenn inside and then clean off the door so we can close it behind us.
All right. You'll have to forgive me because my dog Milo will bark periodically and there's absolutely nothing I can
That's
do.
fine.
He's in charge. He's in charge.
That's okay.
Yeah. Okay, so you start to push Glenn toward the door and he's trying to prevent you, like, no, I'm not allowed. I'm not allowed in my own tavern right now. But you're make a strength check, Nancy.
Glenn!
To see how
Okay,
successful
I'll
you
do it.
are. Glenn is not very strong. He's sort of this reedy half-elf guy, so...
Okay, so I rolled a 13 and I'm going, Glenn, believe in yourself, Glenn, Glenn!
No, and you're just pushing him toward the door, and you're successful. You're able to get him in the doorway and start and push him inside. It is when you get to that threshold that you can make out in the shadows of the tavern. Three figures just kind of standing around in silence, and they do look kind of weird. But it's hard to make out details in the dark. And part of the reason why it's so dark in here is because they're kind of relying on a few flickering lanterns to light the interior, and all of the windows are frosted over. But Glenn,
Do they have hair? Do they have hair?
They do not. They appear to be completely hairless, green humans, all exactly the same height and build. Like they came off of an assembly line or something. but they're
And
dressed
are they sitting?
differently.
Are they just? But they're sitting or standing? Did they get any food? What's going on?
They're standing kind of in the middle of the tavern, in a triangle, looking inward toward each other. Two of them just sort of staring off into space. One of them looking down at something in its cupped hands. The other thing you notice about these humans is that not only do they have green skin and no hair and weird kind of outlandish attire, but their eyes are like glowing mercury.
What color does mercury glow?
It's like a silvery light. Yeah, but
Okay.
they're almost like pools.
It's the glowing version. The glowing.
And the rest of you are sort of
Normally
behind
silver.
Nancy. Yeah, the rest of you are behind Nancy, standing in the doorway. What would you like to do at this point?
Can we turn up the light in here? Maybe.
If you go in, Blue, you can like go over to one of the lanterns that's hanging off the side of a wooden pillar and kind of turn a little knob on the side to cause the flame to rise up.
Yeah.
And when you do that, they kind of turn and look in your direction, and then they just go back to looking off into space. Except that one who's staring at something in his cupped hands. And you're now close enough, Blue, that you can see that he's got a chain around his neck and is holding what appears to be some sort of talisman or amulet and just staring into it.
Interesting. Could we do a history check on the amulet then? See if we know what recognize
You'd have to get much closer to get a good look at it before you could make a check. But
Well, I want to take 2 turkey legs and just go, "Hello, fellas, welcome to the inn." And I just want to go up there and, it's a strange entry that you made here, but I'm always keep my heart open for openings in the world. And I give each one of them a turkey leg, and I put my arm around one, and I take another glance at.
Very good person.
Huh?
Very good person.
While Nancy is
tall are
going
they?
over and they're pretty much 6 feet even, and they're all exactly the same height. Now, while Nancy
like
is going
this.
over, well,
Yeah,
yes, exactly. You're holding it
really
for turkey
reaching.
leg.
There you
So-
go, fella.
While Nancy is holding up the turkey legs and extending an olive branch, and Blue is turning up the lanterns around the tavern to make the whole interior brighter, what are Logan and Breathlin up to?
I think,
I don't wanna-
Logan,
I
we
don't wanna
should
seem
go up to
intimidating.
them. Oh, you don't? Well, what?
I'm a big
I do.
fella. I think hugs might be the best approach out of the gate.
Really?
I think
you don't
Nancy's
think
onto something.
Yeah.
we should be bad cop though? Shouldn't we do like a good cop, bad cop thing here? Like there should be like some threatening element. Like, okay, it's good times, but if you mess around,
And that's the guy
we're
who
here
dies
and-
first.
Not necessarily. Not necessarily. You don't know that. You don't know
Only
that.
one of them.
Everybody is
Only
not
one of
into
them
this
appears.
approach.
Only one of them appears to have weapons, a long sword in a
Okay.
sheath and a crossbow over its back. The one holding the talisman seems to be completely unarmed and is just wearing a robe, and you can't imagine why they're not cold. The other robed one, you can see, has probably the most ornate garments and is looking at the 2 turkey legs with suspicion. But
Listen.
we'll
I
take
like
one
that
of them.
it's
We'll
with
take one of them.
suspicion.
Oh, he took it. He took the turkey leg.
He takes the turkey leg and he looks at it like he's never seen a turkey leg before and he's not sure what to do with it.
It looks like you're not familiar with a turkey leg, sir, or madam. I'm not going to judge. You be whoever you are. Person, entity, creature.
see?
Listen. I don't want to classify you before I get to know you, which I'd really like to do. Anyway, this is a turkey leg, and it comes from an animal called a turkey, which is a large bird with plumage that really is beautiful, but we kill them for food because they're tasty. Would you like to sample it?
He looks at you like you're speaking some odd language, but he does, while you're talking, kind of move the turkey leg around in his hand. Then you see he holds it up and lightning forms around his fingertips of his other hand, and he electrocutes the turkey leg. And then it just blows up in your face, and you're covered with little bits of turkey. And so is he. And then he just holds the electrocuted turkey leg in his hand and just drops it.
No. See,
that's
guys, this is what I'm talking about.
No.
This isn't a way to be.
Nah.
This isn't a way to be.
He wasted the turkey leg. This is serious business.
Food and he makes it explode.
He's a vegan, guys. We misjudged the situation, and we offered the wrong guy some fresh meat.
Now you have another turkey. You have another turkey leg, though, right?
I have another turkey leg, and I'm using this opportunity to look at the amulet thing. What is this amulet thing? Because I'm holding in my rage at the waste of a good turkey leg. Okay, but I'm using it as an opportunity.
Boundaries need to be set here. I say take the other turkey leg and shove it down his throat. And hold it there. So
do it.
Like fully choking him.
Brethlin, I don't.
But I want to. Can I do it with like?
Do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
can.
My
turkey leg.
Like with magic, can I like make the turkey leg float without touching it, and then shove it down his throat? Keep control of it so I can pull it out. I don't want to murder him necessarily, but
yeah, you've got a spell called you've got a spell called Mage Hand, which allows you to create a phantasmal hand that can grab and manipulate things. So you could use your Mage Hand to create this ghostly hand, grab the turkey leg, and try to stuff it down his gullet.
Okay, and in so doing, I'll be like, look, I'm speaking for myself here. I'm not necessarily speaking for the group. To take the hit in case it's a real bad move. All right. Is that okay? Okay. I'm going to do it.
You cast the spell, and the turkey leg rises up in this ghostly hand and starts to try to cram down its throat. You can see that it's turning its head away and keeping its mouth closed like a baby as you're, bashing the turkey leg up against the side of its face. At that point, the one with the weapons draws a sword, realizing that this is some sort of attack.
Oof.
I would like.
I'm gonna get in.
Okay, I'm like, hey, okay, I dropped the turkey leg. I'm like, this isn't an attack. It just was rude that he did that to the turkey leg. And so, what are your guys' intentions? What's the deal here?
My friend Brethlin is a big turkey fan. His mother was a turkey farmer. And I want you to know that turkey is precious around here. Look around. Turkeys can't frolic in the snow. They freeze their little legs off. That's why we eat so many of them. So
none of us are in the position to
start again.
None of us are in the position to waste food, and it's just very rude if you're offered something like that to let it. That's all I'm saying. I was making a point. So what's happening?
It seems like you guys are looking for something. Before we start fighting, why don't we help you, okay? Would you like some beer, wine, maybe some water? I don't know. Whatever you put in your body comes out the wrong way.
And there's a big bar with, obviously you're going to be able to go behind there and find mead and ale and wine and other things stashed there. Although you're kind of a little disappointed that their supplies are low and the variety isn't what you're accustomed to. While this is going on, Blue and Logan, what are you guys doing?
Well, I actually, now that you speak about the bar, can I sneak behind it to see if there's anything I can snatch and take away?
Absolutely. Do you care if your party sees you do it, or do you want to be you want to be deceptive toward them as well?
I'm being stealthy. I'm being stealthy. They don't even know. They don't even know I'm up to.
In that case, go ahead and make a d20 roll against your stealth, which is... Oops, I just called the wrong character.
12.
All right. You also have a +3 bonus to your stealth, which you add to that, so that's 15. You are...
Hell yeah.
You are very, very good at doing this. You are practiced hand at stealing from behind bars.
Yes. Yes.
All
yes. That is what we're doing.
Do you have a preference? Are you a wine connoisseur, an ale person?
Let's go with the ales.
All right.
We're taking it all.
Yep.
Oh,
Yes,
Blue,
there's
you're
an
coming
ale.
over to help me, huh? Thanks, Blue. I'm so glad you're helping me. Thank you. You're a paladin in your heart. Such a good paladin.
We'll be there in a bit.
Yes. There's a nice
Got
ale
you,
called
girl.
Iron. There's a nice ale called Iron Master Brew, which you've had before, so you can steal a cask of that. Logan, all of this you're oblivious to the theft that is being perpetrated in your midst.
What theft?
Yep. You expressed an interest, or somebody expressed an interest. I believe it was Nancy, of maybe getting a better gander at that amulet. But now, Nancy, you've been distracted by the bar.
But I'm coming back with some pumpkin ale.
Yes.
Listen, you know what? I come back with a flight of ale, like all the different ales in tiny cups. And I'm like, listen, we have a lot to offer here. These are all artisanal. This is a very famous local inn. All right? It has a very, very large scroll reviews. If you go to the Capitol on the scroll, this is like top tier, 5 flagons. So here you go. Here's some pumpkin. Here's some elderberry. Try it out.
Now, Logan,
Wait,
you have
Nancy, is this your bar? This is your bar?
Oh no! If you act like you're home, wherever you are, you're home. I tried to sell a jerkin with that on it. Didn't work.
That's great.
So Logan, you being a Goliath, Logan, you have a perspective that no one else has, which is the perspective of great height. And as you get fairly close to these big green men, they're not so big. You can see the amulet more clearly that the one is sort of cupping. And it appears to you to be some sort of weird arcane artifact. It's got weird lights on it. And I would like you, even though you're a barbarian,
Go on.
to make an Arcana check for me. You are -2 on your D20 roll.
So I have a 0 technically because I rolled a 2.
You think it might be some sort of horrible, magical, end of the world, apocalyptic device, and probably should be destroyed immediately. But that's just your perceptions based on your understanding of magic.
Let's not.
Right, which is
He's not a magic fan. Logan's not a magic fan.
I'm going to take a look at it as I bring back my flight, though. I'm going to take a look at it and do an Arcana check of my own, okay?
Okay, you will have to pull up a stool to get high enough to actually see it. But yes.
Okay, and I rolled a 6.
I could lift up little Nancy and hold her up to offer the beers to everybody.
Hello. Hi.
All you can tell Nancy looking at it is it's made out of a strange dark colored crystal. It has some sort of readout or emblem that glows on the top of it that's kind of pulsing with light. But you cannot interpret.
I'm a dwarf. Do I have an advantage in interpreting what that stone is?
Oh, nice rules gaming there. Yeah, I'm going to say yes, because crystal comes, from the ground, and dwarves have a thing called stone cunning. So you have advantage on your roll.
Yeah.
You can roll again.
So I can roll again.
Yes.
Oh, that is a 10.
Okay. For those tuning in from home, advantage is a mechanic in D&D. Advantage is a mechanic in D&D that allows you to roll 2 dice and take the best result. And it's a situational thing. And being a dwarf and looking at things made of crystal, that's a situational advantage for...
But I'm at a disadvantage because it's kind of like, I got to see. Hey, have the carrot ale. It's a real local specialty. No one likes it.
You're able to conclude that this amulet is made out of a bear.
What?
You're giving them a nasty ale that nobody likes.
Listen, it's a flight. Yeah. Brethlin, it's a flight. Oh, you never like everything in a flight. That's the whole point of a flight. You figure out your preferences.
I'm sorry.
So you conclude,
Nancy. Bunny rabbit.
You conclude, Nancy, that this might be a material very rare called chardolin. Chardolin is a dark crystalline substance that takes magic very well, and so it's often used in the construction of magic items, but it's extremely hard to find.
Great.
We found it.
Guys, did you hear that?
Look at
We
that.
found it. So, are these people talking to us at all? They're not communicating? Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, what language are they talking? Nothing? Damn.
Nothing. They haven't said a word.
Oh man.
All right, I'm going to shoot one with a
can
blowgun.
we-
How about we say, hey, why don't you say something?
Oh god.
Why don't you
Can we just
say
poke them?
I heard the word
You went
We're
with
giving
the
you
blow
beer, we're giving
guns.
you turkey. You're blowing up turkey legs here. We're giving you food. We're giving you beer. A little friend here is being like really nice to you. Okay, so I made a misstep, but why don't you say something?
Okay, I'm giving them that opportunity, and then I
How about we
do a
just go,
backflip.
how are you?
I do a
How
backflip,
are you?
and I go,
I like that the Dragonborn is really up in their
backflip,
face now and saying, "How are you? How are you?" The one with the sword has got the sword out, but not holding it up, just sort of holding it by its holding it with the point down. But you can see they're not getting agitated. They're not showing any emotion. They seem completely impassive to your attempts to reach out to them. But then the blowgun comes out. Now you have a choice,
Sorry, guys.
Nancy. You have a choice. You can blowgun the one in the armor. You can blowgun Mr. Static Electricity. I blow up turkey legs, or you can blowgun the one holding the crystal amulet.
okay,
Oh, they're
I'm
all
going to
separate.
blowgun, and I'm going to try to hit that amulet to get their attention, okay? So I'm going to blowgun the amulet. All right?
That's going to be tough because it's sort of cupped in the hands, but you can try.
All right. I could try it. And you know
Yeah.
what? Something's going to happen. 19? I rolled a 19
Okay.
plus 4, 23.
Boom.
Yes. So you are able to sort of hit the amulet, cause the individual to open their hands. Now it's on a chain around their neck, so it just sort of falls until it's now just hanging like an amulet would if it wasn't holding it. But your action has precipitated what we call in D&D initiative. And initiative is how we keep track of the order in which people act when combat erupts, which it is about to do.
Yeah.
So I would like everybody to roll a d20, and add your dexterity modifier to the roll.
Yep.
I'll just do it here.
And we will start with Nancy.
My
7.
dexterity modifier.
7. And if you can't having trouble finding it on your character sheet, I can help you with that. So Maitreyi,
Yes, what
your
is my
dexterity bonus.
dexterity?
What?
I'm a minus
blue.
1.
Blues is +1. Yep, you're right about the minus 1.
So I got 11 plus 1, 12.
Okay.
So
And
I
how
rolled a
did-
14
Yep.
and minus 1, that's 13.
Yes. Which is so far
rolled
the
a
highest that
19.
anybody's rolled. But you rolled a 19?
And I have
That's
a plus
great.
1 dexterity, so I got a 20.
Boom.
Nice.
Oh, yes. Logan.
Well,
Huge.
All right.
It's
These-
coming in.
These guys all act at the same time, or more or less.
Knock the
not quite.
mercury right out of their skulls.
Okay.
Here we go.
Eyeballs are going to
You
drip out of their
see-
face.
Their posture just sort of change in the subtlest ways to suggest that they are about to turn aggressive. The tightening of the green hand around the sword, the flickering of lightning in the fingertips of the one, and then the one who got shot with the blowgun just looking at Nancy with the most kind of hateful, disagreeable look.
Oh,
And that is,
no.
but Logan, you get to go first. What would Logan like to do?
Heck yeah. Who am I closest to of these green goblins?
Let me determine that randomly. That would be the armored one.
I would like. Oh boy, how aggressive do we go?
Real aggressive.
All in. All in.
I mean,
It's
I
too
get-
late. We can't turn back now.
Logan, they blew up a turkey leg and just set in. That's why it just enraged me. I couldn't help it.
I'm gonna make an attempt to fully detain him, grab him, and
All right.
And hold him.
Okay,
so that he
so
is
in order to do
incapacitated.
that, in order to grab somebody, I will need you to make a strength check. So that's another d20 roll, and you'll add your strength modifier this time.
19.
Wow.
17 plus
Okay.
2.
Yep. Okay. You, being much bigger than this green man and much stronger, are able to grapple him. And is it like kind of like a bear hug, like you're just kind of trying to pin his arms to his sides?
I don't know how much bigger I am than him, but I definitely would like to have him in a position where he is fully incapacitated, and I could kill him if I needed to.
Excellent. All right. Yeah. Well, you've got a tight hold of him right now. And
Great.
so that's your turn. Next up is Breathlin.
Okay. So one has the crossbow out. No, the sword out now. They're all like more agitated and ready to get aggressive.
Yeah, but the one who has the sword out is currently being grappled by Logan.
Right. And the other two are doing what? They're upset.
They're at this time they're just upset. They haven't had a chance to act yet, but it looks like they're going to pretty soon.
Can I detain them with a spell? Like, can I freeze them or make them float in the air and like keep them in the air like detained?
So your character has a number of spells. You can create acid splash, so a splash of acid at a creature. You can launch a firebolt. You can emit flames from your hands in sort of a cone. And you can disguise yourself. You can cast magic missile, which just sends magical darts that hit creatures unerringly. You can turn invisible. You can teleport short distances, and you've got the ability to cast a spell that lets you see in the dark.
Okay.
That's what you have.
So it's between lighting them on fire and
splashing them with acid
and being invisible. Splashing on acid is just, I guess that's not as bad as lighting on fire. I'm gonna turn invisible.
Okay.
Freak them out.
Yes. When you disappear, you can see they are momentarily disoriented by your departure. They can't seem to get a bearing on where you are. And you can also, after turning invisible, move somewhere else so that you're not in the same place that you were.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I'll move to another part of the room. We're like behind
Is there a
them.
particular... Okay, that's what I was going to ask. Okay, so you can basically get in a position where their backs are to you.
Yes.
Awesome. All right, so the rest of you, by the way, see your dragon-born wizard just vanish. Boop, gone.
He does that.
And maybe you might see like a chair get banged as he's moving away, just sort of scraping across the floor as he's trying to get to a better position. And you know he can do this, so you're not terribly surprised. You can't wait to see what he does next. Blue, you're up.
Can I, because I got the stealth, I'm sneak. Can I go swipe that rare amulet?
If you want to try to kind of snatch it from around the neck while they're being distracted by everything that's going on.
Just a
Absolutely.
quick zoom by. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah. As you do your zoom by, you can see there is a clasp on the back that you can sort of unlock. Try to do that very stealthily, and then let it kind of drop into your hand. Go ahead and make your stealth check. That's a D20.
I rolled a 13.
All right.
I rolled a 13.
And I'm just checking your character very quickly here because you get a stealth bonus of +3, so that's 16 total. Awesome.
Pretty good.
You have the amulet in your possession. And it looks like that creature didn't even notice that they no longer have it.
Nice.
When you're holding the amulet, you can feel arcane power kind of channeling through it. What I'd like you to do now is make another d20 roll, but this is going to be an Arcana check, and you are +3 on this.
17. Let's
Whoa.
go.
Okay. You believe, you get the sense that this is some sort of tracking device. Like they used this device to come to this spot. It brought them here for some reason.
So Google Maps. Gotcha.
And yeah.
Ancient Google
Okay,
Maps.
I'm following. I'm picking up what they're putting down.
Yeah, and you think that it might be, it might be somehow tied to something you were taught as a very young person, which is that the world has kind of running through its veins magical ley lines, like arcane lines of power, or like a weave or something that sort of spreads out across the world. And you believe that this spot right here where you're standing might be like a nexus of arcane energy, and they have been drawn to it.
Damn, okay. Damn.
And that's all you're able to do on your turn, because you perpetrated your amazing theft, and then you came to this remarkable conclusion. Now, at this point in time, only you knows this information. Do you want to communicate it to the rest of the party, or do you want to keep it to yourself?
I'll tell my homies. I'll tell them. I want to let them know.
Now you are all aware of what Blue
Thank you
knows.
for looping us in, Blue.
Got you anytime.
In D&D, you never know. You never know. Some players like to keep information very, very close to their characters' chests and not share it with the rest of the party. And others, play the game right and, and make sure everybody's in the...
We're supposed to be
Blue,
friends.
I'm saying thank you. I'm saying thank you on the inside, Blue. You know I'm not going to speak right now, though, because I'm invisible. But otherwise, I would give you a huge thank you.
Air high five to Invisible Breathlin.
Yep. The one that's being grappled, the one in the armor, is going to try to break out of that grapple. So Logan, I'm going to need you to make another strength check, adding your strength bonus, to see if you can keep this creature from freeing itself.
12 plus 2, 14.
Yep. Okay. You exceeded their roll, so it is unable to break free of your grapple. It's struggling, but it is not actually doesn't have the strength to break free this round. But the one with the lightning fingers, who is not being held by anybody, turns against you, Logan, and tries to shock you with a shocking touch. So I have to make an attack against you.
I see this happening, yes.
What is your character's armor class? That would be, by the way, near the top of your character sheet. Okay.
Yeah.
They rolled a 21 to hit you. So this attack hits, and it takes 7 points off of your hit points, which currently are 29.
I know.
So you are electrified and are now down. You are now down to 22 hit points. It gets another attack. That was just with one hand. It then does the same thing with its other hand and tries to hit you again, succeeding and dealing another 7 points of lightning damage. So you are now down to 15 hit points.
Good thing we don't have a healer. Oh wait, we have a paladin.
Fire time. Fire time.
I can do medicine things.
Yeah.
The third one.
I'm going to light him on fire.
The third one, who has now been deprived of the amulet, but is not even aware that the amulet has been taken as yet, realizes that the dwarf has been an annoying presence in its life here, and its eyes glow bright.
You gotta get uncomfortable to get more comfortable.
right? Its eyes grow bright. Its eyes glow bright silver as it sort of protrudes into the dwarf's mind, forcing Nancy to make a wisdom saving throw.
Oh, not my best strength. 10 plus. Let's see, 10 plus. 12.
Okay. That, you'll be delighted to hear, is exactly what you need to resist the effect.
Yes.
Nice.
I believe in myself.
Yeah, you thought it was trying to give you some sort of telepathic instruction to leave, and you would have left this building and your friends had you not resisted.
I fought my mother's voice in my head my whole life. You'll not get in here, Baldy.
And it's your turn.
Okay, great. So Nancy, she pulls on her shirt, Master of Blows. Okay? It's just a little tabard she puts on when she really gets crunk, you know. And she gets her blow gun out, and she's gonna blow at the lightning dude. No, you know I'm gonna blow my gun at the. You know what? No, I'm gonna flail. I'm gonna get up there and flail.
Okay.
Flail mind guy. No one gets in my mind but me. I am the master of my own mind. And I rolled a 12.
That hits.
Oh, wow. And then I will
He's not right.
I will do 5 damage with the flail.
Okay.
And then I'm going to use a key point as a bonus action. So I have 3 of those a day I can use. And I will mark it off. And I'm going to do a flurry of blows because Master of Blows. And I can make
There you
2
go.
unarmed strikes. Do I roll separately for each of those strikes?
You do. Yeah.
Okay. That is a 10. Probably not high
Okay,
enough.
that is a miss.
Yep, but this one is an 18.
Okay, that one is it.
So that one is another 3 bludgeoning damage. And I go,
All right.
punch. You should have never touched that turkey leg. I believed in you.
All right. After the flail hit, you had him reeling, but then you sort of you sort of punched him right in the stomach, and it just doubles over and collapses on the floor.
Oh,
So
sorry.
that one, you're pretty tough. Monks, you don't mess with monks. Yeah. So you just drop him, and that leaves 2 standing. One of whom is still grappled. We now cycle back to the top of the initiative order. But before we do that, while you're in the heat of battle here, all of you can feel the tavern begin to shake like suddenly there's an earthquake. And things that you put out on the bar, like bottles and glasses, they start to tip over and just sort of skirt over the edge and smash on the floor. Chairs begin to move across the floor on their own. And you feel the weight of something fly over the tavern. And a shadow falls. But you can't see what it is. You get the sense that something big has arrived outside.
And we're not about Logan the Huge.
Yeah, this is bigger than Logan the Huge. But we are back to Logan. Logan, you've got this green swordsman grappled, but you're feeling the entire tavern shake around you. What do you do?
I should have done this to start, but I'm going to enter rage.
Ah, yes.
And I think I'm just going to break this dude's neck.
Okay.
He seems like the most aggressive of the group. He's the one.
You can make an unarmed strike against him. Because you're grappling him, you have advantage on the roll, which means you get to roll 2 d20s and take the higher result. And you're adding 4.
I also have unarmed strike +4. And
that's what you're using. Yeah.
Oh, I see. You're doing stuff.
Yeah.
You get it.
Yeah.
Oh, a 19. The other one was a 2, so good thing I had 2 to roll.
Okay. Now you're a very big person, and he's kind of a small
Thank you.
Not so big person. And yes, so you just kind of twist his head around. You don't hear anything that sounds like vertebrae, which is kind of weird. You just sort of twist the head around, and immediately you kind of rip the head off, and you're holding this green head, and its body just turns to fire and ash. And then you're holding the head for a second, and it suddenly explodes into fire and ash, and the whole creature's just gone, except for its armor and its clothing and its weapons, which begin to clatter on the floor all around you.
Okay. You're welcome.
What are the other two guys doing now? The other green guys?
One of them is doubled over and lying on the floor after being punched in the gut by Nancy. Mr. Electrofingers is still up and a threat. And
I want to light him on fire.
Okay. Oh, by the way, Logan.
Light him on fire?
Logan,
I want to roast this guy.
Logan, that was only an action for you to twist this guy's head off. Do you want to move at all, or are you happy where you are?
I could only move, so I could either move closer to the third guy or farther away, but I couldn't actually do anything to him. Is that accurate?
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah, I might take a step back here, seeing as I'm losing hit points at an alarming rate.
Okay. In that case, you open up the way for Brethen to use his fire spell. Now, are you going to use, Brett? Are you going to have your character use Fire Bolt, which is sort of a thin directed bolt that you make an attack roll to hit with, or are you going to go with the sort of more broad, devastating Fan of Flames, which is the Burning Hands spell?
Would the fanning flames, can I really direct that at him, or would it light the whole place on fire?
You can direct it. It sort of fires like a cone out from you, but the benefit of that spell is you could get both of them.
Oh yeah, I'll get both of them. Yeah, I'll do that.
Okay. Then what I have to do, you don't have to roll anything. What I have to do is I have to make a dexterity saving throw for these two monsters to see if they resist or avoid some of your damage. One of them rolled a 6, which is not good, and the other rolled a 9, which is not great either. So they take the full brunt of your flames, and this is going to smart. So I would like you to roll the damage. I'm just going to check here. Burning hands.
Which die?
That's going to be 3d6, so 3 six-sided dice.
Three rolls?
Yeah, 3 rolls of the
six-sided die?
six-sided. Yeah, and add them all up.
Okay. So, oh wait, that's... Which is the six-sided dice?
That's the everyday dice, the cube.
Oh yeah, okay, great. Exactly.
That always shows up on time.
Okay. Okay, a 6, a 2,
That's 8.
and a 3.
Is 11. All right. Yes, you engulf them both in flames, and they are both they're both destroyed, leaving behind only their smoldering garments.
Oh wow!
Ooh.
Damn.
You guys, we
So-
never really tried the hug thing. I don't know.
Yeah,
You could hug the last guy.
This is by the way this is a D&D maxim that the first plan you try to execute on will never be the plan you actually execute on.
Yep.
Yeah. Wow.
Well, oh well.
The tavern is still shaking around you.
Yeah.
We're
I'm gonna
we're out of
run out and
initiative,
see what's
so-
going on. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
let's get
Anybody
outta
else
here.
watching?
Yeah, let's get it.
All right.
Let's get out of here.
Yep.
Let's get out of here.
Let's check this shimmying out, you guys. Also, we
Hey,
just
guys,
murdered
let's
3
not
people
forget-
pretty easy.
I could use some
so-
healing.
Yeah, there's.
Oh yeah, let's heal our broski. Let's heal him.
Yeah. So Blue, as a paladin, you have lay on
Yeah.
hands.
Yeah.
So you could give Logan.
Give him the juice.
Healing juice.
Is that a D?
So,
Is that a D20?
no, so you've basically got a pool of 15 hit points, and you can give as many of that 15 hit points as you want to any creature. So you could give all of it or a piece of it. But it's up to you how many hit points
need,
you
Logan?
14 would fully heal me, but it's up to you how much.
Can I have the extra one just because you like me?
Wait, is Nancy hit too? Can I do like a tag team, like give a little bit of here, a little bit of there?
No, I just need it for my
Nancy's fine.
self-confidence. I'm fine. You know, you have a swear.
Oh, no, Nancy.
Okay, that's fine.
Just shakes her head
Totally
at Nancy
fine.
and she just pretends she didn't hear Nancy. Let's give like a solid 7 to Logan for now.
Okay.
I'll take it.
All right. As you rush outside, you can see that while you were preoccupied with the big green men, Glenn wandered back outside and is now standing in the cold again with the blanket around his shoulders, but he's looking up at the sky with his mouth agape. And as you emerge and look up the steep pitched roof of the tavern, you can see floating overhead is a black crystal tower, sort of obelisk shaped. It seems to be made of the same material as the amulet in Blue's possession. And then it begins to shine a beam down from the tapered base of it, and that beam washes over the tavern. It also starts to peel off the shingles and wood of the tavern ceiling, creating a gaping hole in the roof. But that beam just continues, and it lights up the interior of the tavern. And you can see bits of the tavern, like a chair, maybe a mug, go flying up, like they're being pulled up by this beam into the tower.
Oh boy.
Hey, listen, you guys.
Me up.
I had a birthday party. Well, let's go. Let's go.
Let's just let's go for the free ride.
Dan's really got the tower real quick.
Everybody back in the tavern. Is that the plan?
Yeah. We go in the tavern. We go in the tower. Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Let's check it out.
Let's hit this
what
tower.
else are we gonna do? Make snow angels?
Let's follow the cool one. Yeah, let's follow the cool one. Blue says do the cool thing. We're all trying to be cool.
Yes. All right. So you run back into the lit tavern, and you find yourself encapsulated in this bright light, and then pulled upward into this black crystal obelisk. And once you get up toward it, close enough to practically touch it, you are suddenly teleported inside the structure. You find yourselves in a crystalline room about 20 feet in diameter. There's a hole in the ceiling big enough for a person to pass through, about 20 feet up in the air. You are surrounded by bits of wreckage from the tavern that have been pulled up with you. And you are not alone. Floating in the room with you is a brain inside a glass cylinder that has sort of this intricate, ancient metallic framework all around it. It's basically a brain in a jar. And it's just hovering there, and it's like a human brain, pulsating in this, like formaldehyde, like liquid.
No thanks.
Yuck.
We should have left Glenn an extra blanket down there. Maybe.
that's most
Poor guy.
important right now.
And you suddenly feel the tower begin to move, like it's leaving the town. But here you are with this flying brain in a jar, and it speaks to you, like sound just sort of comes out of the liquid and emanates throughout the room. It speaks to you in a language none of you know.
Can we do it?
Yeah.
Go. I don't have a good idea. You go.
Do I have a translation spell?
That is a very good question. Let us find out, because comprehend languages is a good spell. I don't know if you have it. Oops, I'm looking at the wrong character. You do not have the comprehend languages spell, but Dragonborn Wizard, one of your languages is Elvish, and this sounds a bit like that. Like you pick up the odd word or something coming out of this flying brains cylinder that reminds you of Elvish words. Not enough to piece together an entire sentence, but enough to get the sense that this is an intelligent, maybe elven brain that is so ancient it's speaking a form of Elvish that just disappeared from the world long time ago.
Can I say in Elvish to the brain, hey, can you make your language a little more current?
It starts to speak slower. It starts to speak slower, but it's like treating you more like an imbecile, sort of slowing down its pronunciation, but does not change the actual language it's speaking.
Are there any is there equipment around like a a console or something?
So not here, but I did mention there was a hole in the ceiling about 20 feet up into sort of a higher part of the structure. This seems to be just a depository with nothing particular in it.
I have a rope. Is it possible to throw my rope up there?
Yeah, you could basically, you've got a grapple on the end of your rope. You could try to toss it up through the hole and hope that it anchors onto something.
All right, I'm going to try that. I'm going to roll. Okay. What is that, a roll? Ooh, I rolled a 16. So what would I add to that?
All right. I'll just say you did it.
Wow, yeah.
You tossed it up there. You're a dwarf. You probably mountaineered in your day. You know how to throw that rope around.
Mm-hmm. The air is my friend. The air is my friend.
Yes. There is now a rope secured by a grapple to that hole in the ceiling. While this is going on, the brain in a jar is still speaking very slowly, and you can feel the tower moving faster and faster and faster. And it's trying to speak very, very slowly, and you sense an undercurrent of frustration when it cannot get through to you.
Can I say in my elven language, like, hey, again, I don't understand what you're saying. No disrespect. All props to you for your ancient, knowledge that you have. But can you throw me a bone here? Is this the only language you speak?
It continues to speak in that language. And you're starting now to interact with it enough, picking up enough phrases to sort of get the understanding that you are not the creatures it was expecting to find, and you have something that it wants.
Ooh.
Not necessarily.
You have the amulet.
That
so
amulet.
Should we show it the amulet?
Can I show them that?
Oh yeah. Is it undercommon? I speak undercommon, Chris. Is it?
It is not undercommon.
Just trying it.
Yeah.
Can I?
It's much more
show them the
amulet. Yeah. So when you hold up the amulet, the brain does float a little closer in your direction, and then it casts a spell on you.
Oh no, I don't like that. I didn't ask for that.
I'm going to need you to make a wisdom saving throw, and what that means is you're going to be rolling a d20, and you have, I'm just checking your proficiencies, at the top of your character sheet, you get a +1 on wisdom saving throws.
Yay! I got a 19, solid. Come on.
Oh, you got a 19?
I'm fine.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right.
Solid 19.
Yeah.
Solid 19.
You can see it's making you try to give up this amulet for nothing in return, basically forcing you to relinquish it. And you see a little compartment open up underneath the brain in its casing. where you can put it in. But because you rolled so well, you don't have to do what this brain is magically trying to force you to do.
Dude, we should have brought a turkey leg, guys. And I'm gonna climb the rope.
Yes, you've started climbing. You've inched your way up through this hole, and you look around, and you can see 2 more of those green skinned figures. They look identical, physically identical to the ones you fought down below. They're wearing robes, and they've got their backs to you, and your instincts were dead right. They're standing in front of weird consoles with levers and knobs and other things protruding from the crystal walls.
Oh, good.
Okay.
Is anybody coming up behind me? Guys,
Not yet.
get up here. We got guys, get up here. Get up.
Let us roll initiative, since Blue refused to give up the amulet. The brain is not liking that.
Uh-oh.
So everybody
trust
roll a
this
d20.
brain.
And just like we rolled for initiative last time, add your dexterity bonus modifier.
Oh no. So
I got a 3.
3?
Yeah.
my dexterity is a -1 and I got a 5, so that means I got a 4.
Oh, very sad.
I got a 2
I got
12.
and then +1.
Yeah.
15.
How did okay, Nancy got 15, and how did Logan do?
12.
12. All right. The brain. The brain actually gets to act first.
Oh no.
Realizing that you're not going to give up the amulet willingly, it is going to cast a sleep spell.
Oh no.
Now,
Oh boy. Down we go.
Oh boy.
Well, that ended quick,
Nighty-night.
guys.
yeah. So, the spell sends creatures into a magical slumber. I have to roll some d8s. This will be it's a 2, a 7 is 9, 10, 16. A total of 22 hit points are affected. The first creature it's going to target is Blue. Blue, what are your hit points currently?
I haven't been attacked, so I'm.
That's true. You're
Thriving.
at full. So how
But
many
now
do
we're
you
not
have?
thriving.
You have
25,
25 hit points. That is more than it can affect. So it tries to cast the sleep spell on you, and you just kind of like yawn, and nothing happens.
Woo.
And once again, the brain expresses great disappointment in you for not doing what it wants you to. Which brings us to Nancy. Nancy, you're up top. You go next. What do you want to do?
Well, I mean, I'm over these guys, okay? So I'm gonna if I wanted to throw one down the hole, would that be possible?
You could basically come up behind one, just sort of give him a tug and kind of reverse shove him back down the hole.
Yeah, that's what I'd like to do.
Okay. All right, so you're going to need to make a strength athletics check.
Ooh. Okay, I rolled a 14. This is good. 14 plus 16.
All right. You are successful. You give this guy a big yank. He stumbles back down through the hole, falls 20 feet. I'd like you to roll 2d6 for the damage he takes.
Oh, poor little poopsie. 6 and a 1.
Okay.
7.
Yes, it falls, it hits the ground, and when it impacts, you see it just explode into fire and ash, leaving only its robes behind. So that leaves one upstairs with you, Nancy. It is now Logan's turn. Logan, you're downstairs. You saw a green man fall and just sort of burst at your feet. The brain in a jar, however, is the most threatening thing you can see right now.
How is this jar floating? What jar?
It is,
And
yeah.
where am I?
So
Can
you're
I-
floating
can I
about
reach
5
that
feet
jar?
away from it. Yeah, you totally can.
Okay. Well, here we go. I'm gonna grab this damn jar.
Okay.
I'm
Now,
gonna break
you
this glass.
technically could still be raging. I mean, you entered a rage when you were in the tavern. You could still be
Yes.
raging now. Okay.
Great. I'm happy to hear that.
So are you just going to start like punching the glass to try to crack it, or are you going to try to crack it with a weapon?
I just wonder if it's worth. And yeah, I'll use my sword. I took their sword.
Oh, that's right. Yes. So you have you can use the longsword. So you're +4 to hit with the longsword. So just roll a d20 and add 4 to it, and
okay,
we'll see where that goes.
It says here that my hit dice are 3d12. Does that apply here?
Oh, that's so your hit dice.
Yep, I get it. Yes, first it's attack, and then it's So I was just testing you to see. Oh, all right. A 19.
Okay.
Pretty good on this.
A 19 is going to hit the brain. Now, a longsword deals 1d8 points of damage, but I'm guessing you want to wield it two-handed, in which case it does d10 points of damage. So you'll need a 10-sided die to resolve your damage.
I accept. 5.
Okay, and adding your strength of +2 to that is 7. So you do 7 points of damage when you strike the brain in a jar, and you can see a crack form against its side, but it's not a deep enough crack that it actually causes the jar to break open.
Okay.
But you've damaged it.
All right.
That's the first damage it's taken. And so the next person to go is Bretlin, our wizard.
So I'm gonna light this brain on fire. Or no, I'm gonna throw.
Yeah, how do we? You're gonna.
Yeah, I'm gonna firebolt. I'm gonna firebolt this brain.
All right, outstanding. So firebolt is an attack roll as it shoots from your fingertip, and in the spell. Let's see, firebolt. You're a +4 to hit with it, so you roll a d20 and add 4 to the result.
All right. What's this? Oh, what's the? Oh, it's the symbol on the die.
Oh, that is, if you've got that symbol on the die, that's where your 20 would normally be. That is
20.
good news. That's good news for you,
So I got a
because
24.
this is our first critical hit of the game.
Okay, all right.
When you roll a natural 20, you score a critical hit, which means you double the dice on your damage. So normally this spell deals 1d10, so a 10-sided die damage. You get to roll 2 10-sided dice and add them together.
So roll again? Or roll the 10-sided dice twice?
That's correct, and add them together, and that will be your total damage for the attack.
Oh, wow. Okay. Which is the 10-sided?
It's...
Oh, because it's this, right?
That's it. Yep.
So that's the damage. So... 90 and
So
10.
All right.
So 100.
Well, it's 9 and 1. You've got one of the dice there that's got double digits on it. That's fine, but it's sort of a weird version of a D10.
Okay.
So we just take the 9 and we just take the 1. That's a total of 10 points of damage. That does further damage to the brain. Not only does it blacken the glass casing around it, it actually causes the liquid in which the brain is sitting to kind of begin to boil for a moment, and the brain gets stewed. The brain starts to stew in its own juices, but it still seems to be alive, and it still seems to be floating and a threat. Which brings us to Blue.
Can I, go help Nancy? She's sort of alone. Can I go?
You can climb up.
Try and
Yeah, you
climb
can
that
absolutely.
rope?
Yeah, you can climb that rope.
Yeah, let me climb the
It's
rope
not.
and see if I can
It's not
help her
hard.
out.
Nancy put little
Thanks,
knots
Fred.
in the rope. Nancy put little knots in the rope to help with climbing, so
thank
you
you,
can
Nancy.
easily scale up to the top. And when you get
Okay.
up there, you can see Nancy's butt in your face. No, I'm kidding. She's already up inside. So you climb up, and you can see that Nancy is in a room with control panels on the walls, and there's another green man standing in front of those control panels.
Ooh, we don't like that. I have like firearms, don't I? I have firearms that I can take this guy out with, don't I?
You have firearms?
Do I? You tell me.
Oh,
I don't know. It's on my character sheet. It says.
Oh, on your character sheet it says you are proficient with firearms.
Do I have them though?
But your equipment says that you have a dagger, a longsword, and no firearms.
Oh, sad. That's sort of useless that I have proficiency there. But I'll take the longsword. Let me slash this guy's throat. Okay,
so you are +4 to hit.
Okay, see. We got 13.
13 is enough. All right, so you try to run this guy through with your sword. Are you going to use it one-handed or two-handed? You deal more damage if you use it with two hands.
Let's do two hands then. Let's go on.
All right. So you'll need your D10, and you'll need to roll that for damage.
We got a 6.
Good. And you've got a +2 strength bonus, so you rolled a total of 8. You run your sword clean through this creature, and it explodes into fire and ash, leaving nothing but its robe behind.
Nice. I'll take the robe too.
Okay. That you can do.
Wait, why not?
Collector of fine robes.
Yes. A lot of them being thrown around here.
I can take that in for you, so it really fits your figure, Blue.
Thank you.
Yeah, look at
as long as the robe's like nicer than what you're usually wearing, Blue. Is Blue's current wardrobe, is it more high end than these robes, or are these robes
it's pretty
ultra?
Nah, these robes are ultra.
Yeah,
they're like
these robes are these robes are from some sort of ancient, spell casting culture. They look like very fine old wizard's robes, exquisite with gold, with beautiful gold trim. They're vintage.
Hey, definitely the overpriced vintage in the capital. Okay.
Exactly.
All right. The brain in the jar is starting to get desperate. It's still speaking with urgency in its voice, and you sense its concern. The Dragonborn wizard, who's hearing bits and pieces of this conversation, gets the sense that the brain now fears that you're going to destroy them all. But it now magically emits psychic energy in a blast that hits Blue. No, sorry, Blue's not there. Logan and Brethlin. I need both the wizard and the barbarian to make intelligence saving throws. Now, Martin, Logan gets according to your character sheet, has a -2 on intelligence saving throws.
Well, let's not nitpick here.
Brett, your wizard character, not surprisingly, has +4 on your intelligence saving throw.
Of course. Yes. So which die?
I rolled a 12.
This will be a 20-sided die, and then you add your modifier. Yeah. 12.
I rolled an 11.
Okay.
So +4 is 15.
All right. There's good news and bad news. Which do you want first?
Oh no. Bad news first.
Okay, the bad news is Logan did not roll high enough on his saving throw and is hit by the full brunt of this psychic energy blast and takes
I can take it.
17 hit points of damage.
Wow, you're really testing my limits here. I'm down to 5.
Oh,
okay.
No.
Yikes.
And on top of that, you are stunned,
don't do
which
this
means
to
you're
me.
just
Okay.
you're stunned, which means you're just reeling to the extent that you can't even regain your senses. And the rest of you can
This
see
is what I get for being a big target.
Yeah. And blood just starts to come trickling out of Logan's nostrils.
Jesus.
Ooh.
Oh no, Logan! I don't like this.
Yes.
Oh.
Now for the good news. Now for the good news.
Yeah.
The wizard made the saving throw and suffers no ill effects.
Yay.
So now is it my move?
Now that was the brain. So now it is Nancy's turn in the initiative order.
Oh, okay. So I'm upstairs. There's no more bad guys. Bad people.
Correct.
So what?
Get down here,
What am I
Nancy.
seeing?
Get down here. We got to get rid of this.
What am I
brain.
seeing on the console though? I'm up in the I can't see
So-
what's going on down there. They've got it handled, especially Logan.
Yeah.
He's got this
Yeah.
sold.
They can't hear it going on. They can't hear what's going on.
They can
Up there.
hear, but it's
Hear
hard to
each
make
other.
out because a lot of what's going on is kind of happening in people's brains. Like Logan is getting brain fried. That doesn't make a lot of noise. And there's some
Right.
smashing on the brain itself, which tells Nancy that the party has this well in hand.
Well in hand.
So, Nancy, you're staring at this console. There are 2 key levers, both in the down position. Then there are some dials, about 5 dials, which have a script around them, but you're not familiar with what it says. Actually, let me double check that. What languages does Nancy know?
Nancy knows. She knows Common, Dwarvish, and Undercommon.
Okay. A language Nancy doesn't know.
Okay.
There is
Okay,
there's also what appears to be a flippy switch on next to the 2 levers.
Okay. I'm gonna do what anybody who believes in themselves is gonna do. And I'm gonna go wax on, wax off. Wax on, wax off. And just like mess with all the dials. Everything is going to get turned a little bit. Everything's getting flipped. You know? When you're not in a place where you really want to be in life, you just gotta flip it upside down. So I'm just gonna change everything from where it is.
Okay. All right.
I'd say
so
this on a more positive spin on it. We did choose to be in here, so
true.
we're following our bliss. I don't think it's like I don't think it's a silver. I think we are within the silver lining. There's no
Totally.
Okay. So you're going to start with moving the levers, the dials, or the switch.
I'm gonna do that switch first, then levers, then dials.
Okay. When you flip the switch, the tower is suddenly filled with music from some just basically music playing ambiently through, like elevator music or department store music, but it sounds ancient, like it's not a familiar song.
So it's like lute, smooth. It was like smooth, but done on a lute.
Yeah,
Okay.
maybe even with a little bit of zither playing in the background.
Great.
Yeah, occasional strike.
That was
of a
my
triangle,
girlfriend
perhaps.
Ari, everybody.
Hey, Ari.
Hello, Ari.
Hello.
Backing me up. She's been cheering me on from the sidelines. She hasn't.
So next, you want to start messing with dials or levers?
I said levers. I said
Levers, okay.
Button, levers, dials.
All right. So you start to push the levers up. You suddenly feel a quick drop in altitude.
Oh,
And when you try to correct with the other lever, the tower flips upside down
great.
and back around. So I need everybody in the tower,
Oh God.
to make a dexterity saving throw.
Oh no.
Logan is
Oh, no.
stunned, so he can't really do anything.
Oh,
Yeah,
no.
pointless.
Can I
Oh, I
grab
got a
Logan?
6.
Can I grab Logan as I do my dexterity?
It,
No.
let's see how well you
too
do
by
on your
surprise.
dexterity first. So Brett, what was your dexterity modifier is -1.
Boy.
Oh boy, I got a 4.
Okay.
A 5.
Yeah, you can't even correct for yourself, let alone Logan. You just see Logan sort of fly off in another part of the room.
Oh,
Off I go.
Maitreyi, how did Blue do? You get a +1.
I got a 6. That's only 7.
Oh, no.
I don't think that's too great.
Oh no, Nancy.
I got an 11.
That's not bad. Not bad.
It's not great.
And Blue just sort of Logan just kind of blows it. All right, all of you are tossed around, smashed up against walls and ceilings. The floor becomes the roof becomes the floor.
Oh no.
Everybody takes 15 points of damage.
Bye, Logan.
No.
Bye.
Which drops Logan to 0 at this point in time, and everybody else has taken 15 points of damage before the tower rights itself, and everybody is just sort of landed prone. Now the brain just kind of reoriented itself in space and didn't seem at all troubled by the flipping of the tower.
Logan's dead.
So no, Logan, in D&D, when you drop to 0, you are basically unconscious and dying. So there are a number of things that can happen to stop a character who's dying. Somebody can try to administer healing, that kind of thing. You can also, through luck of the roll, stabilize yourself, and we'll determine that shortly. That was Nancy's turn, which brings us to Logan's turn. So Logan,
As a free action, I yell down the hall. Hold on to something, you guys.
That's too late.
You're a little late. I would say you're a little late. But thank you is what my comatose body mild as to the room.
No, I mean.
I shouldn't laugh. This is tragic. This is terrible.
This is terrible. This is not.
Logan, so you can't do anything on your turn except attempt to stabilize. So I need you to roll a d20. If you roll a 10 or higher, that's good news on a d20.
Here we go. Well, that's
Come on, Logan.
I got a 7.
Okay.
Oh no.
You have now what we call in the industry 1 failure. Once you get 3 failures or three strikes on a death save, you die. So you can fail 2 more times on your own before you die. But you have friends who are still conscious. Maybe one of them can help you. Next up in the initiative order is Brethlin. So do you have any hit points left, or were you knocked down to 0 as well?
I don't think I was knocked down to 0. I think I haven't been hit yet.
No, you haven't. Oh, you had 17, so you have 2 left.
2 left.
So
okay.
With your 2 hit points, you sort of peel your face up off the floor.
I feel like I roast this brain.
Okay.
I roast the brain. I do full fire.
Okay. You cast another Burning Hand spell. It has to make a saving throw.
Yeah.
It fails the saving throw. So you roll another 3d6, 3 6-sided dice, and add them together.
6, 9,
15.
11.
Oh, 11 total. Got it. Okay, 11 points of damage causes the brain to boil in its juices and the canister to explode. And when that happens, the brain just sort of flops on the ground, lifeless.
Okay.
All right, you have dealt with the brain in a jar.
So then I'm like, hey, Blue, can I heal Logan?
You have no healing.
I move.
But
It's okay. I'm gonna.
you've also taken an action, so you need an action to try to heal somebody or stabilize somebody.
Right.
Okay,
So
but it is now that's correct. It is now Blue's turn.
I very sternly look at Nancy to not mess with any more levers and buttons, and then I go run downstairs.
We didn't do the tiles. Okay, fine.
Yeah. The tiles will save us. You go down the rope. You descend the rope, and you can see Logan lying in a rather awkward position on the floor right now. and you go over to him. Now you still have magical healing left because you only used, I believe, what was it, 7 points last time? Yeah. So you got 8. You got 8 left.
Is that the only healing thing I can do? Do I have other healing things?
No, you can do other healing as well.
Damn. Can I?
You can do what's basically called non-magical healing, which is you can make a medicine skill check to just kind of stabilize him. He won't wake up, he won't have any hit points, but he won't be dying.
That's true. Can I also gotta help my other homie Breathlin here? Can I do both? Can I help both of them with the points?
So you have got not only those points, but you've got a spell called Cure Wounds, which you just sort of go over. You don't even have to necessarily, lay on hands. You just basically pick somebody near you and heal them. And you heal
let's
them.
do that.
All right. Who, do you want to pick Logan or do you want to pick Breathlin?
Oh,
Wow.
Okay, Logan's like dead pretty much. So I'm gonna help him out before.
Okay. Yeah, he's
before he actually dies.
Yeah. Logan is in
you gotta do Logan.
Deep trouble. Okay.
Yeah.
So roll a D8. Roll a D8. That's you get to add to that
5.
your charisma. 5? That's pretty good.
Oh, I don't have charisma.
You don't. You're the most uncharismatic paladin ever.
No, I don't have any charisma.
But that's okay. Good news. So Martin, your character Logan now has 5 hit points, which means you're conscious and can take actions on your next turn. By the way, when you wake up, you see there's this gross brain lying on the floor nearby. It looks like it's been killed.
Oof.
Oh, all right. Boy. We are back at the top of the initiative order with Nancy.
So I pop my head over and everybody's up and I'm like, great, we did great there, didn't we, guys? All for one and one for some of us. And then I decide that, hey guys, there's a bunch of dials up here and I don't know what's going to happen, but we're moving aggressively fast through space and I've got to get home because I have a horse that I was going to maybe look at buying because, I'm short. So somebody get up here and read this script. Brett, get up here. I got to get home. Also, I left some stew on the fire. That's not going to go. And Gary might be frozen by now. What was his name? Who cares? Come on up here, Brett. Bretlin. Glenn. I got hit on the head. You guys have been down there but just gallivanting around. I'm up here taking injury and kicking some butt.
Gallivanting around, I roasted the brain. I got the brain. The brain's dead because of me. I killed the brain.
Okay, get up here,
but I'll come up there. Okay, I'm coming up there.
Okay. Anybody not going up to the top level?
Oh yeah,
I guess I'll go up if everybody's doing
top level. Yeah, why not?
Since everybody else is doing it, Logan decides to be the conformist. You all climb up into this control capsule at the top. And when the Dragonborn wizard looks at the dials, can instantly figure out that the writing is in Draconic, which you speak. And the first dial, Breathlin, is window. It controls the window.
Window. All right. What do the others say, or do I need to? We got to go dial by dial.
Yeah, you can see the second dial is altitude. The third dial is speed. The fourth dial just says air.
Oh.
And the fifth dial says shield.
Let's do window.
Just that speed.
Okay.
Oh.
When you turn the dial on window, you see that the sort of foggy black crystal walls gradually, the more you turn the dial, the more they become transparent. And that's when you see yourself ram into a mountain.
Oh,
the end.
No.
Wait, what?
Wait, what?
Great.
Yeah.
We just died?
So
Of all
the window becomes transparent, and you suddenly see this mountain ahead of you, just whoop, whoop, and then you smash into it, and everybody dies. The end.
Hey.
Great. That was fun.
Sorry, we're at time. Actually, we're at time, so that was sort of an accelerated end to our little game. So,
Boy, what an adventure.
what did you think of your D&D experience? Just
Loved it.
Awesome.
So fun.
Took a lot of hits.
you all did great.
Job too.
Yeah, you all did a fantastic job, and everybody had a cool moments to shine, which I think is very, very important in a D&D game.
I mean, if a baby was driving a car and smashed into a mountain, you wouldn't blame the baby. It doesn't know how to drive a car. We don't know how to drive a tower. So we succeeded in everything that we knew how to do.
Exactly, and if this game were 15 minutes longer, you probably could have landed this bad boy.
And his full name is Bretlin the Baby Gelman.
Breathlin.
And I'm so glad that Breathlin got us a critical hit, because it would have been weird to have a game with no crits. Always nice to have a crit. That's good.
And Nancy made good choices all around. So
yes. Yeah. I am sad
Great
I'm sad that your hug plan didn't come off.
it didn't work. I don't know why we didn't follow through with that. Somehow the turkey legs
Hugs are
distracted
not allowed
me.
right now, guys.
Yeah, you're
Well,
right.
that's
I should have kept
what
some social distance between those people.
Yep.
Yeah.
There was just a lot of privilege with those other guys.
Yeah, for sure.
It was
For
just
sure.
like,
For sure.
we're giving, they're rude, and then what? We're supposed to just be like, oh, okay.
Like with their vintage robes and everything, they needed to take it down a notch,
Yeah.
No, we did what we
Yeah,
had
I'm
to.
sorry you didn't live to wear that.
Yeah, it's too bad you didn't. You're dead now, but your corpse is gonna be super
I want-
pretty.
Yeah.
It's
gonna be a great
Well,
open
I'll be in our
casket,
caskets with great
Listen,
robes.
some necromancer is gonna resurrect you, and you're gonna have a good life.
I'm looking fly.
Yeah.
See, that's optimism right there. That's optimism at its peak.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right.
Maybe rumors of your death have been greatly exaggerated.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Nothing ends until it really ends, y'all.
True.
Gotta put
I
that
had
one on a dagger.
my death save counter, and didn't matter. Off we go. We all died.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much, everyone.
Thanks, Chris.
This was
That
a
was
lot of
very
fun.
fun.
This is fun.
Looks like we
Good.
raised
Yeah, that's great. Thank you, Chris.
$21,000.
$21,000 just for
Holy
us? We were the
smokes.
opener, right? Smokes in it. Yeah. That's exciting. We set the bar pretty high for the day.
I like it.
And are there games
Not
all
bad.
day? Are you DMing all day, Chris?
So this is my only game today. I will return to the DMing chair tomorrow with a new group that includes Brandon Routh and Palm Clementif and Karen Gillen, and I'm spacing on the last person, David Harbour.
Ooh.
Nice.
Well,
Well, they won't be
So,
as good as
have a
us.
blast.
Thank you.
yeah.
Yeah,
Thank you,
they'll be
everyone.
running a totally different game. So they'll have a different challenge, and they'll have to deal with their own. And I'm still actually trying to figure out what exactly they're going to have to accomplish. But it'll be heroic. It'll be heroic. It'll be heroic.
Great.
Well, thank you for having
I hope they don't
us.
smash
And
Yeah,
the game
thank
out.
you.
everyone support
Yes.
Red Day or support
Yes, please do.
whatever.
Donate and stuff.
Yeah.
Got my
Tthank you, everyone.
Red Nose Day
Thank
owlbear
you.
shirt. See that?
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh,
Oh,
that's
I
so
have one too.
cute.
Owl bear. Boop, beep, boop.
Nice.
Oh,
All right.
cute.
Well,
All right.
the pleasure was all mine. You guys are great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So fun.
Sorry, I killed you off at the end. That was kind of mean.
That's okay. You
Yeah.
gotta
Really,
end
there was
it.
nothing
You
else
gotta
we could
end it.
do. What else are we gonna do?
We deserve
You gotta
it.
do what
We
you
put a
gotta
baby behind the wheel.
Yeah.
I just
mean,
opened
listen,
the
I
window.
did my best.
I just
You
I just
opened the
turned
window
into
to
a window.
see our
You're
death.
calling Felicia a baby, not me. No, he thinks he's calling me
Listen.
the baby. And
What happened in that?
wrong.
What happened in that? Like,
driving
what
it.
happened in that? What happened in that split second
I don't
before
know.
you knew you're all going to die? Did like all the characters huddle together like in a Scooby-Doo cartoon and just sort of grip each other tightly, or like
Friends
What was that-
forever.
what was that
I put
frame?
a tattoo right on my chest. Friends forever.
Yeah.
In that one split second. Friends forever.
What's the
Done.
second? Well, I'm a calligraphy expert,
We all
you know,
hugged.
so I can
That
do
was
it
the
backwards.
finale.
Yeah.
Yes.
Dude,
there was that
all
moment when
hugging
you were
around.
all sort of everybody was smacked up against the window, so your faces were pressed up against the glass. Yeah.
Yes,
Mhm,
that was
We
like
all
the
wake
hug
up
moment.
As adventurers,
Like, we didn't learn-
all wake up every day knowing that, death is a possibility.
And we
That is
never
true.
knew what the deal was with anything. Like, we didn't know what the amulet did. We didn't know what the brain. We really just really didn't
Yeah,
understand anything.
We
We just
figured
went
out
into story
nothing.
stuff.
Nothing about what's going on with this secret group of green people.
Nothing. The amulet. Somebody's gonna take it off your corpse list. That's tomorrow's adventure. Karen Gillan is gonna put her beautiful hands on your dead body and find this mysterious amulet.
Oh my
I'm
god.
like, bet, take it. Take
They'll
all the
solve the
alcohol I
problem.
stole as well. Take the robes. Take everything I've stolen. Take it all.
You're giving me some wicked ideas, so they're gonna hate me for it.
The wreckage.
If I
Bye, everyone.
all right.
Bye. We can't end this
Bye.
ourselves, but someone else
Thank you.
will.
So we just,
Right.
we just chill here. We just,
Should we
We
leave?
just-
Like,
I think so.
we just, like-
Ready? 1, 2,
2,
3.
3. Bye.